I suppose, if they hadn't decided to ban that away.
Interesting. Okay, so they're not going to be fishing for the Caitlyn. No roster changes worth noting for Longzhu. They stick with the same roster all 3 games.
Yep.
So the AD carry pool continues to be pinched. Lucian is the only obvious first-rate AD carry, given the current meta.
I think the Azir ban is probably a good idea. I mean, Coco had a really great game on Azir in game number 1.
Feels like a lot of junglers are going to come through, though. I think we might actually see the likes of Nidalee's and Kindred's running through, because the obvious last ban here is Lucian, to stop there being a first top-tier list AD carry. In fact, okay, we're just going to go full crazy mode. All 3 AD carries that have really heavily been considered this season, outside of a couple of Kalista games and the like, are banned away on the blue side by Longzhu.
I like it. You know, I feel like champions like Ashe, Tristana are going to pop up now. Seems likely maybe even that Twitch. The last ban is a big deal, though, for KT.
Do you ban a jungle?
Decide to go with.
Now, Nidalee to Chaser is... Chaser is a wonderful Nidalee player for a long, long time. They don't ban Nidalee, so Nidalee comes through. Will we see Chaser finally get to return to it?
Well, I think they banned the Trundle away, because if you first pick a jungler here, KT responds with Maokai, and they don't want to give Longzhu the option to respond to that Maokai with the Trundle, so it's probably not a bad ban.
So following that logic, something like Maokai Kindred is a pretty clean start to the draft that doesn't reveal anything. Interesting, really interesting. Now, the Nidalee makes a lot of sense, given anyone who knows Chaser knows just how great he can be on this champion. No guarantee that he will perform on this stage, but I think he can be that big game player that he was known for on Jin Air. So the question is, what do KT do? Do they just go for the draft we talked about? It wouldn't reveal anything.
There's the Kindred, and you gotta imagine somebody's gonna go with the Maokai. It was so good for them last game. The Ekko would be a bit of a surprise, given the Trundle ban.
But Ssumday likes to apply lane pressure. You know, he wants to take a carry wherever possible. I'm going to put one thing out there, and this might lead to nothing. If we see Ekko, Fiora is available, and Expession is a noted Fiora player.
Yeah, and KT did ban the Fiora last game against Longzhu.
Interesting.
So it will be Ekko and Kindred.
So they could have gone for 2 other picks. They decided not to reveal things over potentially taking 2 power picks, because remember, Kindred was going to fall through picks and bans from the side of Longzhu, so they could have taken it in any rotation. They decided to fish for information on the Nidalee comp. Nidalee Maokai is a jungle top lane duo that's as famous as can be, and basically been ever present ever since Nidalee entered as a jungle option. We wondered about 80 carries. The first one locked in is the Kalista.
Yeah, Kalista Braum, and that's a very powerful combination. Has been for a while, of course, and Braum has just become this huge priority pick, right, with so much long-range poke.
Oh, baby.
Oh, are we going to see the arrow Draven? It's possible.
It's, you know, it's very possible. I think it's either Draven or Ashe here, depending on how you're feeling.
Well, are you going to go Ashe, even with the Braum pick? You know, I guess ESC ever wasn't afraid to do that the other day, but...
We've got 2 champions with no initiation. Initiation from the AD carry role would be nice.
You could go Ashe Varus, but no.
Ashe Victor would be slightly more magic damage, but obviously the same sort of line wave clear and poke that can come through.
Ah, the Twitch. Ah, the Ezreal. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple good options.
Yeah, it's surprising how Ezreal really hasn't been a name that we've mentioned, even though Ezreal's seen a lot of power. Oh, baby. Do you go Taric Ezreal?
I think it's likely. I think they're thinking about it. And they're going to go for it.
Well, do you like invulnerability, Doa? Because you've got a lot going on here. We got the ultimate from Ekko, which isn't true invulnerability, but true invulnerability from both Score and now Hachani with Taric and Kindred. This is a very obnoxious team fight.
Oh, there it is. You requested it. Coco will oblige. There's a Jayce pick for Coco in the mid lane. And the Maokai wrapping things up.
And the Pantheon hover. We're not going to see a Pantheon. Will we see Fly finally break out something like the Aurelion Soul that we've just been heavily expecting it to be a consideration? Fly has a champion ball unlike other people. He will play the Malzahar mid. He will play Lux when no one else is playing it. You know, speeding up a Taric sounds pretty scary, actually.
It does. I mean, putting bombs on the Kindred or the Ezreal or something. What about the Lissandra, though? I haven't seen Lissandra much lately.
CC is the one thing that this team doesn't have in droves. Of course, the situational CC from the link-up with the Taric is what's there, but the speed-up would help the links and guarantee, or at least threaten more of that season. Remember, we actually talked about the synergy in the off-the-record highlight package we saw was between specifically Taric and Ekko, and the fact that wordlessly Ssumday and Hachani were able to set up really impressive dive, dazzle, stun plays. They got access to it again.
It's going to be the Zilean this time for Fly, yeah.
So Longzhu have obviously two champions who are massive poke champions in the Nidalee and the Jayce. Kalista not the best AD carry at taking down turrets, but does give them some backup team fighting power and also some objective controlling power, as Nidalee and Kalista can take out those dragons very, very fast with the Rend to secure it on the side of KT. The CC's not there, but the invulnerability, team fighting, if KT fight on all cylinders, and late game team fighting is something this team's always been able to do, also accounting for both the Taric and the Kindred ult is going to be maddening for Longzhu.
Do you feel like that means Longzhu needs to really kind of put a lot of pressure on early with this comp?
I mean, poke comps have always needed to take it off early, and I believe very much it's going to have to be really going for the aggressive moves early, because otherwise, this game's even very, very difficult to fight against KT.
Well, in the small sample size we have this season so far, Longzhu has been solid in the early game. It's kind of been their forte. It's been late when they struggled, so picking something more geared around the early game may let them get the 2-1 victory over KT.
And we can get hyped. Come on. Coco's playing Jayce. This is great.
Yeah.
Jayce and Azir in the same series. Greatest hits of Coco.
Well, his Azir was great. His Jayce I always thought was even better traditionally, and so we will see if he can reach the levels of old.
It's been a long night, but the Korean sniper to end it off is a fun way to go.
That's right. So Longzhu versus KT. Longzhu desperate for their first win of the season. KT desperate to show that they're still one of the strongest teams in the early days of LCK Summer. We'll see who takes it as we move into the final game of the night. An epic 6-game evening here on LCK Summer. Let's see who takes it. Time to get in the game. All right, well, here we go. The Korean sniper, Coco, on the Jayce as we move into Summer's Rift for our final game of the night. Some interesting picks. I haven't seen the Zilean versus Jayce matchup in a while.
Can be a very punishing one for Zilean if he's eating poke, but of course the double bomb and the low AD carry-esque stats for the Jayce means that he can be burst down as well. And I think we should generalize it, though, because of course, you know, the Korean sniper, we talked about Fly as the real, true Zilean main even before Faker picked it up. How much is there across the board in terms of trademark picks? Hachani now has been the only person to play the Taric. Ssumday was one of the most impressive top lane Echoes. We just keep going. Chase is on the Nidalee. Score is on a jungle AD carry. There's a lot of power and there's a lot of the players being represented in their champion picks, which should mean an explosive final game.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about this Taric, too.
Wait, Ssumday's taken Fervor of Battle on Ekko.
Oh.
All right, then.
Huh.
That's manly.
It's a bit different. Hey, but if you're going to be invulnerable from that Cosmic Radiance coming out of Taric, you can handle it, maybe.
I don't think that's actually a sentence, but sure. We'll go with that, though.
It is. His ult is called Cosmic Radiance.
It is fabulous. We saw Amumu and the Taric in one day, so the tributes from the players have actually been both meta and on point.
I mean, he used to be all about those gemstones, right?
True.
But now apparently he likes astronomy. I don't know.
That's a weird pivot.
Yeah.
I don't really see that as a natural life, you know.
Well, you see, Papa Smithy, Taric was like Valoran's, you know, guardian of, I don't know, beauty and stuff. But then apparently he did a bad job being beautiful, which I find hard to believe. And then he went and climbed a mountain at the top. He found the power of the stars, and now he's Taric the Star Guy.
So you read the lore is what you're telling me.
Yep, that's about it.
Cool.
Nailed it.
You are a resident lore expert here, Doa, so
That's
thanks
right.
for filling me in. I wasn't clear on it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't open up those lore explanations.
Also known for his W, which is a strong ability called Bastion, which right now in video games is a word that gives people chills all over the world.
I mean, more generally, it was also a strong video game, if you remember.
Yeah, it was a good indie game back in the day. But right now, you say the word Bastion, people are just like, no, no, please!
Anything but the Bastion.
The turret, no! So we got the lane swap. Things are progressing normally, and I would say things are progressing normally in the mid lane too, with Coco able to get some nice poke on the fly early on.
So with the dual lane in top, very nice roll on the Scuttle Crab, specifically the mark coming up for Kindred, means that you're going to get a couple of extra objectives as we see eventually Score coming and meeting the jungle follow in the top and taking this turret out.
Yep. That's right.
Going to leave all the experience for Ssumday, of course. This is Ssumday we're talking about, KT.
Yep.
Very standard across the board.
Wants to be the carry.
If you're taking Fervor of Battle on Ekko, there's no mistaking who the carry is.
Oh, yeah. Man, this is one of those games where you just really have no way to know which way it's going to go. It's been pretty back and forth all night. And Score doing quite a bit of aggressive counter jungling here.
Very deep in the enemy jungle. I was just waiting to see if he got a mark of the Kindred, but able to smite away the wolf, which of course gives him extra information when we do see Longzhu collapsing back into the top side of the map.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned yet that it is going to be a Cloud Drake to start things off with as far as the Dragons go. Arrow trying to line up that stun off of the W from Taric. Again, if you're not as familiar with the new Taric, when his ally is close, when he's got that Bastion on him, the abilities that Taric cast off of his ally as well.
So you cast the Bastion on whoever the ally, and you can change that obviously if you have the shielding ability available off cooldown. That's why we see those epic plays where the diver, which in most cases is going to be the Ekko, gets Bastion in the middle of a fight, phase dives in, and then you get a multi-man stun. So you can pull off some really impressive moves with the Taric.
Yep. Chaser on this Nidalee. We haven't talked a lot about this yet, but he is a pretty amazing Nidalee player traditionally. Score, though, trying to take the minions away. He's going to get the Raptor. It's going to be Score. So Score actually off to a pretty good start here in the jungle.
The jungle pool unaffected means that we see the two strongest meta junglers in the Nidalee and the Kindred. Both of them farming junglers to some extent in the early game, so unless you get the big drop or a big max range spear onto the Kindred, for example.
Fly just feigning that recall before canceling at the last minute.
An easy matchup for Fly. Remember, he's gone for the summon spell teleport, and Coco has exhaust, so he even has a laning summoner in a matchup that, especially early, he should be able to bully out the very fragile Zilean. So, if you're able to say competitive in CS, which Fly has, you're pretty happy for KT.
Yeah. Score going for a very early dragon. And it'll be nice just to move around the map a little bit more. A little bit more quickly, rather.
They're going to DPS down very quickly, such as Kindred when it comes to objectives like that. Seeing the mirror turret takes as well, so we didn't see Longzhu prioritize the dragon when they took down the turret in the bot side. They prioritized swapping back, so the end result is that the second swap actually gets the dragon, which is very often not the case. Longzhu are going to answer with the Rift Herald, but dragon stacking just seems to have once again gone up in value with the introduction of the Elemental Drakes. Oh, reset means that it's going to take a little bit longer to finish off the Rift Herald.
That's kind of annoying. Still going to get the buff onto Expession. But yeah, I mean, Dragon's certainly been, depending on the Dragon, you know, a little bit higher priority. Cloud Drake, obviously not everybody's favorite Dragon, but hey, if you've got a chance to take one early, why not?
And Score will feel happy. He once again gets a mark of the Kindred where he was incidentally on the map. So
nice.
Just bonus damage that will come through.
Yep.
Sadly, not been a lot of action in mid, even though we predicted there to be a laning phase that made the Jayce very happy. Rite of Age is going to be the pickup. Need any sort of health to stop being just burst down in a single rotation from the Jayce, if you're Zilean.
Yeah, that is nice. I don't have to worry about that. Score waiting for the blue buff to be picked up by Fly. Come on, old man.
Really going to auto attack it
Come
down?
on, Zilean. Oh, wow.
Score's getting really
That's
tilted
just
at this
rude.
point.
All right, Score gonna have to recall after the ground probably.
They're going to have words about that after the game.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, man. Auto attacks, really? It hurts.
Hachani on the fabulous pink Taric, going for a roam.
Glad they kept the big furry pink boots.
Yeah.
It was a classic. You can't take those away from Taric.
It's fun. I mean, there's so much talk about the Taric rework for so long, and the Bastion elements really do make this a unique champion. No more point-and-click CC, it seems, from range anymore, with Sion and Taric both losing their trademark stuns.
Yep.
Now a lot more gameplay happening with the Taric.
Yeah. I mean, point-and-click stuns aren't maybe the best way to design a character.
Well, for melee champions, I think it's fine. Like, I don't think Rammus is egregious with his taunt.
Yeah, I mean, with melee it's a little bit different, but, you know, Taric, he's only kind of melee.
Just everyone has a trade-off now. Even Fiddlesticks, the only champion with that really ranged regular ability disable, has the Terrify ability that forces the enemy to flee in the opposite direction.
Right.
So, yeah, that's one big commitment Riot clearly had, was removing point-and-click irregular ability CC, and now it's truly gone.
Yep. Longzhu trying to claim the Krugs, but instead they will save the Krugs. Oh, nice.
Hooray.
Krugs are well, they were saved.
The Cougar had a way with them.
Yep.
And they were gone.
On the mid lane, definitely going Coco's way. No surprise, really.
Nope. This is about the CS advantage you'd expect at minimum from the perspective of the Jayce. Could be bigger, but there hasn't been any jungle attention in mid lane because of all the mirror turret takes, so no realistic kill pressure solo for Coco just yet.
Yep. Well, Coco's still trying to harass Fly.
Hasn't been able to find range, or acquisition range for the Q, to the skies in melee range. Really exciting laning phase happening here, guys.
Oh, yeah. It is a thrill a minute. Bombs, shock blasts. I like the effect that they used to show Bastion. It's kind of like revealing the starry world behind.
I mean, honestly,
the real
both of them have tether links to some degree. You've got the Oath Sworn on the side of the Kalista, and
That's
the Bastion
true.
on the side of the Taric.
That's true.
Which link is stronger, Doa? That's what we'll find out. The power of heart will triumph. And
That's right. Well, it's the power of stars for Taric, not heart anymore.
I'm not really sure what's the power of, I guess,
The power
swearing.
of death.
It's Oath Sworn, so the power of swearing.
I guess we have to die to like make the oath, so it's a death oath.
I mean, Emperor and Pure are able to be so far pushed up in top lane. It's pretty obnoxious, actually, the fact that they've been harassing under the inner turret. But
Yeah.
just with the way that specifically Score has been pathing, there's been no way to punish on the top side of the map.
Pretty much.
It's good defensive vision, so they were pretty sure they'd be safe. But finally, the mounting level of pressure from just being so far pushed up the map causing them to back off. Also, Dragon spawning in a minute, so they probably want to be on the bottom side of the map.
Yep. Didn't catch which one that was. Looks like it's a Mountain Drake.
Ooh.
Yeah, it could be a good pickup for both of these teams, really. But I feel like Longzhu a little bit more.
I mean, Jayce just scales so well. The Hyper Blast with some flat AD. You will be exploding turrets with a couple of Mountain Dragon stacks.
Yep.
Nidalee also will increase the attack speed and has the ranged auto attack. So definitely, everyone loves a Mountain Drake, but Longzhu just craving it more than KT.
That's right. Coco really doing a number on this mid lane.
Honestly, an Ocean Drake would be pretty massive for KT in particular, just because Jayce has such long cooldowns on his Shock Blast, specifically the Gate Shock Blast, that naturally in that 13 or second or so interlude, you'd get the Ocean Drake procs off. So if Ocean Drake is the third, then that will be a big target for KT.
Yeah, for sure. See if they can organize to take the Mountain Drake first, though. Longzhu should really be putting a priority on trying to take this, but they're not really right now. A little bit of a duel in the top lane, and we've seen the Ekko Maokai a lot. It's hard for this duel to ever really end in lane early on.
It is a bit different. We have to remember this is not Grasp of the Undying versus Grasp of the Undying. There is a lot more damage on the side of Ssumday with the fervor. But kill pressure, maybe not, but surprising damage, definitely possible.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see the rune page, if it's actually armor penetration to go along with the sheen and the fervor of battle for the Ekko.
Could be. Hachani tries to line up a stun. Doesn't land it, though. And Coco able to steal the blue buff away from Fly.
That's going for the Yomu's Ghostblade. It's a lot of immediate power. They turn onto the Dragon, as you spoke about. They have a lot of Dragon damage. They will easily secure. There's no way for KT to to enter this part of the map. No ultimate from Ezreal to even go for a speculative steal.
Yep.
And it will be the Ocean Drake as the final one.
All right. So that would be the third dragon then. So all three are Cloud Drake, Ocean, and Mountain.
Infernal is no more. Fire's been thwarted.
Guess so. Well, I mean, wind, water, and earth, all ways to quench fire, isn't it?
Apparently. That's all we can take away.
There we go, lore appropriate. Here comes Coco. He's come to kill your minions.
When you say here comes Coco, for some reason I think of, well,
oh.
That's actually a big, so the stun does come through onto Coco. He's trying to kite,
Whoa.
Does take the damage. Another bomb and a couple of autos would have done it.
Yeah, it's a good amount of damage onto Coco.
I was actually thinking of here comes, here's George Jetson, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking of the Jetsons in that particular way. That's where my mind goes when casting League of Legends for 6 hours, the Jetsons.
Yeah, we are almost into our 6th hour right now. Oh, we are into our 6th hour right now. It's been, no, 5.5. Wow, well, math goes after about 4, so it's about right.
Ssumday just going to push up top. Item builds. No real big items. Of course, the early power spike for Coco, specifically with the Yoma's Ghostblade, so even though he's tier stacking, he has a lot of power in that item. Lost Chapter in the inventory from Fly, so heavily expecting that to be the Merlinomicon, just so that he can reduce the healing from Nidalee, and I guess also the Maokai passive.
That should be. Waiting for Hachani to make the big plays.
The turbo big plays with the Zilean could be very exciting to track.
Yeah. Big plays with the Cosmic Radiance.
Yeah. That hasn't happened this game, so...
Not yet.
When we did see the Taric last time, it was a different jungle setup. It was the Rek'Sai, which very, very obvious, right? You put the Bastion on the Rek'Sai, he turret dives, you press Cosmic Radiance. They eventually die to both the CC and the damage from the AD carry. But this game with the Kindred, much harder to kind of put together. Still possible, you know, Kindred can just slow and then dive with Cosmic Radiance and also the backup of the Lamb's Respite. But the pathing hasn't been there from Score. This is definitely one of the more passive Score games we've seen.
Well, you do raise an interesting point, though, that in the team fights, you've got that Kindred ultimate and you've got the ultimate from Taric, so it's going to be pretty tough to take down this team.
Wait, I mean, you're not even factoring in the Zilean revive and Ekko's ult as well.
That's true.
As I said, it's a maddening team fight comp to face because even if your comms are clean, you have to communicate so many key abilities that at any point can change the tide of a fight.
Right. And on top of that, Arrow's very mobile on that Ezreal, too. Lining up the Dazzle, they do get the stun onto Pure, and they're going to go over the wall onto him. Emperor's right there. And it looks like KT is going to not really find any picks for the moment.
Ekko was in lane, stepped into the brush, looked for a teleport, but won't find one. Has a bit of a level advantage, but probably just a little bit of CS. Nicely spotted out there, Longzhu.
Yep, they knew it was up. Might have been going for the minion wave, actually. Just kind of found him accidentally.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt one time.
Nah.
Kalista's gone for the play the Ruin King first, which does help him in the chase. It does help him in the laning phase, but means it's not going to probably be that Kalista sitting in the mid lane with the Ren stacks. Would have expected Kalista to get mostly free farm against Zilean, but there is always the outside chance of death from the double bomb, so maybe that's considered too risky. With Exhaust, I still feel like Jayce can enter a side lane. You know, Jayce is still a champion that can go in the top lane just because he can clear waves from a screen away with the gate into Shock Blast. But for now, it's probably just going to be a return to that laning phase from Longzhu.
Yep, seems that way.
Forever laning.
Oh, yeah. Next dragon in about 1:40, and we do know that it is that Ocean Drake.
Outlined, I think KT really would be behooved by picking up an Ocean Drake against all the obnoxious poke on the side of Longzhu.
Yeah, that would definitely be pretty helpful. Fly trying to set up a couple bombs, but doesn't manage to catch Coco.
I mean, it's worth noting that, honestly, Longzhu get a lot of value out of it as well, because the mana sustain is very relevant for Nidalee and Jayce.
Yeah, not to mention when you're sieging, you know, you can just back off for a couple seconds, regen, and then resume the siege.
I mean, I just don't always consider the mana regen, but given that Nidalee, you know, both poking and healing requires a lot of a mana pool, and you can't get a blue buff, usually access to a blue buff on both the Jayce and the Nidalee. I think it's pretty relevant.
Whoa! Did he actually get that?
He did.
I think he did.
He definitely did.
Not bad. They set it up for him.
Second time in a row that they've taken boost. Score did take the enemy blue, though.
That's true, so they do trade blue buffs. Oh, there's a bomb on your head, Jayce. It's a bomb.
It's a bad look.
Look out. You didn't count on that when he came back from the future. People putting magic bombs on his head.
KT have 2 teleports, but they're 2 super situational TPs.
Wow.
Flash is drawn from Fly.
Yeah, that's right. I had to get out of that Fate's Call.
So I would call both the teleports from KT rotational teleports. I think of both Zilean and Ekko, honestly pretty similar to someone like a Varus in that you're not looking for any sort of flank or initiation play. Outside chance you can pull it off with the Zilean and the Ekko, but so much more setup than is usually necessary. Double teleport means more options in the late game. It's just if we see Expession be really on point with the appropriate warding and get an instant initiation, the answering teleports are going to be that much more situational for KT.
Yeah, definitely. Dragon is up, and KT has a good angle on it right now. Not a lot of vision, though. A lot of good warding from Longzhu at the moment, but that's not going to stop KT from going for it. They know the Rift Scuttler is in the favor of Longzhu, trying to maybe steal it. Oh, he gets it with the dragon, or he gets it with the spear. He threw a dragon at the spear. No, that doesn't work
Just
at all.
someone that could probably do that.
Great, yeah, maybe, that's true. Great spear from Chaser, though. Nice steal. That's why you ban the Nidalee against this guy.
Worth knowing that Score smited and didn't pick up the dragon. There will be another Ocean coming as the next buff. So that will either really top up the mana pool specifically, but obviously the health to a lesser degree on the side of Longzhu, or will be a little bit of sustain to answer the inevitable poke war from Longzhu.
Yeah.
Item builds have still been pretty slow. I guess it's, surprisingly only 20 minutes into the game. Feels like it's been longer than that. Still no kills at 20 minutes and waiting for the tier purchase to be completed by Coco. 2 item spikes just not observed yet, but coming soon.
Score waiting in the brush. Gonna maybe try to make a plan to Emperor, but nope. Nope, Chaser and Pure are there, so it'll be a little bit dangerous.
Not quite the Hurricane yet for Emperor. So very much just looking for that last bit of gold. Has the Zeal and a couple of daggers, so getting closer and closer to that teamfight relevance, the Ren set potential. I just feel like Longzhu are the ones on a timer. That's the impression I get when you're against just such an oppressive amount of invulnerability on the side of KT. Now, there's no guarantee you pull it all off. One of those ults misses, for example, Zilean doesn't get in range, and suddenly things can fall apart. But if played perfectly, and given the highlight clip, and given how well Hachani and Ssumday linked up on the Bastion Dazzle combos previously, they can definitely pull it off if all things are if everyone's firing on top cylinder. So I, for one, think that KT can pull off this team comp in the late game.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a close game right now. They're only a tiny bit behind as far as gold goes, but not enough to really matter at all.
Longzhu are definitely the team expected to dictate the tempo. They're the ones with the poke comp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, something going on to Expession. Score is right there, too, looking for that first blood. RKT Rolster is going to try to teleport out. Can he make it? Looks like he probably can. Yep. Gets to the top lane.
Does draw out a teleport. Now they have a double teleport to no TP advantage. Just say what you will about Ssumday and Fly coming in on Ekko and Zilean respectively. This is a scenario where KT can make a lot of power plays. If they set up their minion waves, if they really separate their forces, can make things happen. So now it's time for the problem solving on the side of KT to take advantage of what they've gained from that gank, which again is that teleport advantage.
Yep. Just keeping the lanes pushed for now. And are they actually going for an early Baron? That's a 22-minute Baron now for KT.
Remember, they can just ult with the Taric and they don't take damage.
That's right, 2-shot barrage used just to kind of check where everybody's
Nidalee's
at.
expecting it now, but she's not going to be there fast enough. This is really smart from KT.
Yeah, teleport bringing Ssumday in. It looks like KT's going to be able to claim this. Hachani is very low right now. Pops that ultimate. There's the invulnerability. Comes off just in time. Oh, Baron taken by KT just in time, and they turn around with the kill onto Chaser. That was close, man. I thought Chaser was going to steal another objective.
He ended up getting everything. There was just no vision in that area. Why would there be? None of the action was played around Baron for 22 minutes, and what was a crazy long laning phase is ended with a Baron. Longzhu might be able to answer it with at least some mid lane turret damage, but compared to the Baron objective, it's the smallest of revenge picks.
Yep. That's right. So KT may actually want to fight this here. Coco
Dazzle.
trapped, getting very, very low, right? The Dazzle did land. Coco tries to go back in on the fly, but Hachani picks up a bloodthirsty Taric kill. Emperor needs to run for his life, man. He has no health remaining. Score flashes for it. Can he get the kill? Maybe. Dazzle lined up. They don't get the stun. Score gets the kill anyway. KT looks like they're in great shape right now, man.
Yep, still have that Baron buff. Not everyone is shopped, but they're able to push in. They should be able to take an inner turret at minimum, maybe even an inhibitor turret. I guess this early in the game might be more difficult. 15 seconds on Coco. They catch Jayce.
Yep, that's right. A lot of damage. Here comes Hachani with another Dazzle.
Nicely done.
Dude, things are looking good for KT.
They just never have to stop fishing for picks with the Dazzle because they've got Zilean speed up. They've got Zilean ult still up. Now Ssumday just pushing obnoxiously in the bot side.
It's working out. They're going to get this turret.
This comp is just so KT.
Yeah.
They pulled off the Zilean to a T. That's another execution heavy comp. And now Zilean Kindred Taric.
I like it, man. You've got so much CC and you've got so much survivability, too. It really is kind of a terrifying comp when you think about it.
It's just so frustrating for the enemy team as well because a pick is never a pick unless someone's literally on their own. And if that person's Zilean, you can buy enough time with your ultimate for everyone to come up. But who are they killing who's alone? I guess an Ezreal, but then you're just trying to chase down an Ezreal. That's not much fun. Ekko is his own headache when it comes to being escapable. So in general, there's no one to lock down, and it's a 5-man unit. An oppressive amount of invulnerability. Short of a KO, they've basically got everything to go untargetable or just not take damage.
Yeah. Now they've got a big gold lead. And Longzhu, you know, this is the moment in a lot of their games this season, well, the small sample size, again, that we have, that they kind of give up, right? That the apathy kind of comes in as we see the dragon spawn. So can Longzhu kind of hold it together? Because they can still win this game. They just need to play out of their minds to do it.
Longzhu actually forced the move specifically from Kindred.
Oh boy. Yeah,
okay.
that's okay. Never mind. Never mind. Double Dazzle, really nice from Hachani, and things seem to be falling apart a little bit for Longzhu now. Braum ultimate goes out, but Pierre not going to survive this one. And KT can pretty much go down and take this dragon whenever they want to as well.
Jayce not done yet.
Ssumday. He's coming for you. Run. Run, he's scary. Okay, now he's running away. But now Arrow gets to push in the bottom lane. Yeah.
So Emperor just pushes far too far forward, dies effectively solo to Ssumday. Meanwhile, Arrow split pushes basically everything short of the inhibitor, and it gets it very low on the bot side.
It was a nice two-man parallel convergence. He caught both of them on the very edges of it, but you kind of shake your head when you see that because you know, Emperor should know that's coming.
I mean, he had no summoners, so
yeah,
you either respect it or you die, and it was the latter in this particular case. As you mentioned, they can just kite back and take the dragon as well. If this was tennis, that'd be an unforced error, though.
Yep. I've never played tennis, but I'll just take your word for it. Ocean Drake goes over to KT.
They pile that on. That'll give them some answering sustain from what Longzhu picked up. And suddenly this game looks just that much more difficult for Longzhu. 6,000 gold behind. Already we said the team fighting against KT comp at minimum is frustrating, and realistically is something that's probably a bridge too far, barring an amazing pick on someone who's not grouped. And KT honestly exists to stay as 5 at this point. They've got through the laning phase, they've got the items they need, everything on here. Further is basically gravy on top of what already is a very appetizing meal that KT have put together.
I mean, and now you look at Chaser and you look at Coco, and yeah, the poke on those champions is pretty good, but KT's just going to be able to sustain their way right through it. I mean, and if you don't have that poke creating opportunities, you know, what do you have? Looks like you might have a dead Maokai, I guess, yeah.
A lot of damage on the score.
Yeah, score does take a bit, but that's a nice Dazzle to slow him up. Pops the Lamb's Spite rather. Fly goes for the stun, doesn't quite land it. Expession low.
Meanwhile,
Ssumday just wailing away at that middle turret. KT moves down. That's a nice shock blast. That's the poke we're talking about. But again, the Ocean Drake's going to kick in, and regen's going to be pretty good.
Mortal Reminder does work on Zilean ult, from what I understand with that interaction, so it actually is a nice pickup that Coco's picked up already. Ssumday has to stop harassing the mid lane turret and push up the minion wave, but this is reminding me of Ever when it comes to having minion waves for days to rotate between and try and take extra objectives. Baron spawns in a minute 30, so at least Longzhu can get in early when KT clearly have to shop and spend some gold to get some vision down.
Yep, might be able to do something. Ssumday lurking, though, in this tri-brush.
Permanent vision now put together.
Yeah. He's going to have to run. Here comes Hachani and Arrow. They need to protect their top
Two-man
laner.
stun.
Yeah, it's not bad. There's a Braum ultimate in response. Ssumday looping around the side. Two-shot barrage comes through for a bit of damage. Coco just so low, turns around on that Jayce, but can't get anything accomplished before he gets killed off. Killed for score, and without that Jayce, there's really not a lot stopping KT from just pushing into the base and taking this inhibitor.
Longzhu just never hit their poke timings,
Ouch.
and we mentioned that it's a two-man poke comp with a Kalista for backup team fights. If you don't hit that early timing, then it's just a comp that has no true identity when it comes to 5v5 fights, and the KT identity is just so obvious when it comes to the ability to go super aggressive, fish for picks. Anyone can dive and become an initiator.
Here comes Ssumday going in for that parallel convergence, getting some stuns. There goes the turret. Taric claiming that one for the power of love and stars and gems and stuff. Chaser chased away by the bombs from Fly. KT takes some decent poke, but again, you know, they can just back off. They got an objective. They don't need to press this any harder than they are now.
Yep, smart move by KT. They got exactly what they wanted. They couldn't quite finish the inhibitor because of the health bars, but they're going to go back, spend the gold, and they're spending 8,200 gold that Longzhu don't have access to. Now, worth noting, Baron is spawned, and KT is shopping.
Yeah, and Longzhu's going for that immediately, man. They're going to try to sneak this Baron, and unless Fly can stop them, it's going to be pretty tough. He misses the bombs.
No stun. Now,
Yep.
Score's there.
Here comes Score, that's right. Meanwhile, Ekko takes out the inhibitor. Teleport coming in for KT. They're bringing Ssumday to the party. KT trying to make them pay for this Baron. It does go over to Longzhu, but they're in trouble now. Hachani pops that ultimate. Vulnerability goes through. Arrow has to flash away, though. Coco getting some decent damage, and Longzhu might be able to turn this around. No, Ssumday comes in. A kill on each side. Longzhu fighting for their lives as Pure takes a big shot from the bomb. Nearly goes down. Oh, there's one. Hachani a bit low. Coco trying to look for another one. Gets the kill. And Longzhu able to take that fight and take the Baron. So maybe, just maybe, this one isn't over yet. But they are down 2 inhibitors.
We said it was smart for them to back away, but they didn't do it cleanly or early enough. Got a bit greedy when it came to other objectives spawning on the map. And while the game's certainly not decided, first 3 kills of the game, and crucially, the Baron buff as well. Even though Score was over-leveled, no way to smite outside the range of Rend. And then some pretty interesting choices here, specifically Arrow going aggressive onto a full health. Jayce don't want to do that, has to back away. The ult was used onto himself from Fly, so they weren't able to actually get a lot of value out of the Zilean res as well. And yeah, the spells were kind of not put together specifically because the Kindred had to go super aggressive to try to contest the Baron, so it wasn't played on the terms of KT at the last couple of skirmishes or pseudo team fights have been. And thus, there was window for Longzhu to finally find a small avenue into trying to make this competitive.
Yeah, it's interesting. All those abilities that KT has didn't come together. They're going to lose their mid lane turret. Tier 1 going down, 50 seconds till the next dragon. And I believe we saw that was another Ocean Drake, is that right?
Not
100%
clear, but
yeah, I'm not totally sure. We'll see.
The inevitability that we felt a few minutes ago is suddenly starting to be called into question a little bit.
Yep, couldn't quite see it there.
Still a lot of gold to the advantage. Some days, like, whatever, I'm still going to buy the Magi's.
Oh, yeah. 205, he's only died once. Go for it. Oh, meanwhile, Expession in the duel against Ssumday.
So are we going to see Ssumday once again trade his life? Looks very likely.
Maybe.
Jayce is very fast.
Chaser's coming up. He misses a spear.
Oh, maybe not.
don't know, Ssumday really wants to keep fighting Expession here. He must
Look
have
at
seen
KT,
the
they
Spear go
stopped
past.
going for the dragon. Actually, they're trying to cut and get a fight.
Yeah, that's right. The Q from Braum lands onto Hachani, so he will get slowed. That'll kind of stop the hard engage.
KT splitting their options. They could have just stuck around the dragon. Instead, they went to both assist Ssumday and look for some exit kills. Right now, haven't been able to pick any up, even with all the movement speed they have.
Yep, KT coming over the wall now to go for this Ocean Drake. Is indeed what it is. This would be their second of the game. So more regen, and again, it's very important that they get that against a team with this Jayce and Nidalee.
Yeah, it really starts to trivialize the effort of some of Nidalee and Coco. You know, even if they weave in some really strong poke, because it's the second Ocean Drake, both the amount and the cooldown that you have to be out of combat for go down pretty significantly. So KT will be able to back away and sustain, and whether that's Fly, for example, who might be fishing for a bomb, then take some poke and just be able to come out of the fight and come back in, it's going to work really well for them. So they're going to be very happy with that result. There's definitely scenarios where Ocean Drakes in the late game are a non-factor, but this is not one of those games.
Yeah, definitely. Big game for score. 3-1-3 on that. Kindred already.
Going for the Black Cleaver as his next item, which will open up Ezreal's damage, and I guess to a lesser extent the fervor of battle Ssumday. Still crazy to think that he picked that up.
He's going for it, man.
He goes
Pure
big.
bravery.
That's the Ssumday way.
Really does. And it looks like that's going to be another turret going over to KT Rolster.
The gold lead has been very much answered. That was 8,000 just a few minutes ago. Suddenly back to 4.5.
Yeah. I mean, Longzhu has been shut down a little bit.
One issue KT have is that need some setup to actually get that initiation. They don't have hard initiation. They're very much focused on getting the Dazzle link. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be once again the Ssumday and Hachani show to actually get initiation CC and force a fight from Longzhu.
Moving in onto this middle inhibitor. Ssumday in the back line's trying to zone a little bit. Coco is there. We'll see how much poke he can put in with those shock blasts. KT looks very hesitant to actually engage on this. Now finally moving in. Inhibitor down to about half health as Emperor gets a nice auto on to score. Chaser throwing spears in, doesn't really connect with anybody though.
All flashes up on all 10 members.
Yeah, might be a crazy fight. Here comes KT, they want to make a play here. Meanwhile, Emperor has to stop some of the super minions leading on the Nexus turrets right now. Expession caught out. There goes the inhibitor. Longzhu going to pursue. Coco looking for an opportunity. They activate that Taric ultimate. There's the invulnerability. Score drops a Lamb's Spite as well. So hard to kill these KT players. Arrow firing over the wall with all the damage he can in that Ezreal. Longzhu has to exit. Oh, nice shock blast onto the Kindred. That's what we know Coco's Jayce for. KT, though, still pushing into the base. And Hachani finding some opportunities. There's the kill for Arrow, and they might be able to end it right here. If they can win the team fight, they can do it. Gonna turn onto the inhibitor instead, and they're not gonna go too aggressive right now.
Not able to get a decisive team fight win. The big issue is the consistent damage is both the jungler and the AD carry, and Ezreal is also on the lower end as we get longer and longer into the game. So Kindred kind of gave up her life to occupy space, had to use the ultimate just on her lonesome to buy time, did the Kindred, but the end result is both inhibitors down. So still very successful push from KT, but not quite enough to end the game.
Let's watch that team fight again. There was a lot going on there.
There's multiple fronts the fights were fought on. Obviously, Expession is super tanky in the front line. Score takes a lot of poke from the first Nidalee too, but still has to reinitiate because honestly, Score's like, okay, my job this fight is to distract Emperor from actually getting a Ren stack and a first kill. Because of course, the first kill comes through, you get the Ren set, you get potential to get more kills. So he dies in the back line. But they finally, because they have such high health bars and because they do have CC, the Dazzle does come onto Expession. They focus down the tank in the front line, looking for the flash bombs that have always been the trademark of the aggressive Zilean play that Fly can do, but not enough to take anyone down through things like the more Malmortius. So definitely felt like one of those longer, drawn-out fights, but no decisive kill advantage for KT means they can't quite end the game.
It was about as close as it could get, though. I mean, a lot of low health members of Longzhu, so that could have easily been the end of it right there.
2 kills were probably minutes done. Speaking of getting it done.
Oh, Coco gets caught, takes a lot of damage, barely dodges the center of that two-shot barrage.
They're going to lose this inhibitor.
Yeah, that's right. Coco out of the fight for the moment as he heals back up in Fountain, and that's going to mean a 4v5 for the moment. in favor of KT. Spears coming through. They want that inhibitor. Expession trying to push them back. Score gets jumped on by the Twisted Advance. Ssumday diving into the back lines. Inhibitor still up for the moment. Arrow getting a really good angle to throw a lot of damage into this fight. Coco picks up 1 kill. Expession, will he die to the bomb? No, not quite. The inhibitor still taken by KT, so that's all 3 down now. So go kill for kill. Emperor going down on the Longzhu side. Score nearly dying from that Jayce, but KT might still be able to take this Baron on the way out.
Well, once again, we find a series, though, where KT are involved in a game with 3 inhibitors down, but the game not quite ending. All inhibitors down for Longzhu, but if we learned anything from that MVP series, doesn't mean the game's over. Now they're baiting Baron.
Well, I mean, there's so much stuff that Longzhu can throw in. There's no reason in the world why they'd need to face check that.
Right. Well, they still turn onto it. Score's health bar, because of the Ocean Drake, you can notice, is actually topping off pretty well. This is the Ocean Drake, 2 of them in full display. Score doesn't have to back.
Yep, that's right. Nobody really does at this point.
Nope.
Ssumday coming back.
They're just waiting for someone to show on these minions. Yep, okay. Means it's Baron time.
Or is it? Teleport bringing Ssumday in. And now I think they go for that Baron. Shock blast checks. They see the turret, but that's about it, or the ward rather.
I mean, Kalista was revealed in base, so yeah, no way to contest. They actually lose the first Nexus turret.
Yeah, and that's going to be a Baron for KT Rolster. That's their second of the game.
That's the reward for all the hard work of taking down 3 inhibitors at the same time. None of them have respawned yet, so the reward for effort is an unanswered or unanswerable Baron, and now potentially a difficult to answer Elder Drake. Now, Longzhu do spot it out. This will be the first Elder Drake of the night, I think.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Here come the super minion waves, and super minion waves in all 3 lanes right now, and that means KT can really take whatever they want. Wow, that Nexus turret's taking a lot of damage. I don't think so. I think that Nexus turret might go down. KT can easily get this Elder Dragon buff, and it's only buffing their speed and their regen, but it's not bad, I suppose.
Worth noting that, of course, they get the burn effect, or the damage that you get, and it's influenced by how many stacks of the dragon you have. So because they have 3 stacks, they still do get offensive capabilities from
that is true.
Taking the Elder Drake, even if the out-of-combat regen, given where the game is going to probably end soon, won't be of biggest relevance. But KT looking for the tutorial win, the sort of thing that actually brought down their opponent's MVP. Going to push up all
Teleport
them
coming in from behind. Expession trying to flank with this Maokai. We'll see what he can do. Fly might be in danger here. Expession twisted advance onto that Zilean. He's going to back away immediately. Has to get out of the fight, though. Braum ultimate comes through the middle of KT. They don't seem to be phased, though. There goes the Nexus turret. Ssumday, a bit of a back door. Well, more of a front door, really, as he pounds away on the Nexus. Takes about a third of the health out of that. KT coming in, though, for the final fight. A lot of low health members of Longzhu already. Taric's invulnerability makes it very tough for Longzhu, and that is the end of the game. KT takes the series 2-1. It was a bit touch and go. Longzhu got their first game win of the season, but in the end, it was all KT.
And early this season, KT show us one of those KT specials. It was all about the Poppy Zilean they cribbed from other regions and really perfected. You know, throughout the rest of the season, last season, you were always worried about Poppy Zilean from KT because they played it so well. Now this invulnerability comp, and specifically the Taric. 2-0 for the team on the Taric. A lot of poke damage from the Jayce, but of course, was mostly a non-factor throughout this game. But I really like what KT put together. This invulnerability comp, very effective, very frustrating to play against, but it did take down the win in the end.
It's really cool, and I mean, you gotta respect how much damage this Jayce can do. Coco did as much as he could, but against this composition that just had a lot of champions that